Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. The alleged mastermind of the gaming conversion racket, Shanavas alias Baddu, has been arrested. He was arrested from Alibag in Maharashtra a good 10 days after this case came to light. This is a pan-India network, the police says, which allegedly used to lure young kids who were playing video games, prey on vulnerable ones among them, and forcibly convert them to Islam. This has been brought to light about how your children are being targeted through gaming apps for the purposes of conversion. The point is, what are the lessons therein for parents out there who may be worried about their children who are 24/7 stuck on video game consoles? And will the full truth of who all were involved in this pan-India racket come out at all?
गाजियाबाद के दो पुलिस कांस्टेबल और हमारी मुंब्रा पुलिस की टीम थी, उन्होंने जाके अलीबाग से आरोपी को अरेस्ट किया है।
खोखली दलील देते हुए वे कह रहे हैं कि गेमिंग ऐप से कोई धर्मांतरण नहीं होता। चुनावी राजनीति के लिए वे तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं।
So how exactly does this gaming app and forcible conversion through these gaming apps work? Let's take you through the steps taken by these radicals to try and indoctrinate children using these gaming apps. Number one, they target teenagers via a particular online game. It's a very popular one. It's called Fortnite, whereby the users come together. You are formed into teams of either 2 or 4. Step 2 is they get these users to recite verses from the Quran. This is incorporated as part of the game sometimes, and sometimes it's also incorporated as some kind of a reward. In order to win the game, you need to recite verses from the Quran. Once they identify potential victims, and they're always looking out for signs in these children, whether they have a good relationship with their parents, do their parents interact with them continuously. Anyone who is seen as vulnerable is indoctrinated continuously through the Discord chat app. Now, this entire racket, it came to light in Ghaziabad, in the national capital region. Reports suggest it extends across the country as well as internationally. Here are some of the details accessed by CNN News 18 as per top sources from the Uttar Pradesh police. There are chats, multiple chats between the accused, the main accused who's been picked up from Alibag in Maharashtra, as well as various victims. The WhatsApp and Discord chats reveal the strategy of indoctrination adopted by Shanavas and others who are running this racket. The accused allegedly guided victims to a nearby mosque to offer namaz. The victims, who are young teens, are then threatened if they do not offer namaz 5 times a day. The chats also allegedly show that these victims were pressurized even on days that they have examinations. The alleged code word that was used for namaz was gym time. So in one of the first FIRs filed in this case, the parent of one of the victims alleged that his son was going to the gym 5 times a day, and that's how he grew suspicious. The chat engine was allegedly bombarded with Zakir Naik's teachings. Remember, the controversial Islamic preacher who is barred from entering India. Zakir Naik's video links were allegedly shared during these gaming chats as well. Links of verses from the Quran were also allegedly shared through the Discord app. So the main accused, as per the police, is a man named Shanavas. He's all of 23 years old. He was nabbed from Alibag in Maharashtra. The accused managed to buy a new SIM card. Remember, since this case came to light, which was in late May, this man and his close associate have been on the run. The Thane police managed to track this SIM card and track the location of this SIM card to a lodge in Alibag. 2 teams were formed. There were 5 cops each who were assigned the task to nab Shanavas. Lodges and cottages in the Alibag area. And remember, it's a very popular tourist destination as well. all the lodges and cottages there were searched. The police managed to nab Shahnawaz and his brother from one of those lodges in Alibag. The accused and his brother were using a different identity since this case came to light in late May. The police also detained the provider of the SIM card. And now CNN News 18 has accessed more details of this investigation. The Ghaziabad police say they have received 5 complaints in all against the accused from different parts of India, including Ludhiana, Faridabad, and of course one from Malad in Maharashtra. The UP cyber cell of the police there, the forensic unit, has started the investigation into the finances behind this racket. At least 7 bank accounts are under the scanner. Anshul has more details on this. So Anshul, so money was also exchanged, because clearly if bank accounts are under the scanner, it was not just the inducement or forcible conversion to Islam, but also there was inducement through money.
So yes, as of now, there is one transaction that has happened between Shahnawaz and the kid who got converted. In fact, the complaint in that transaction was regarding a computer hardware part that he had outsourced from him in early January this year, is what we have been told. However, there are 7 bank accounts that have been found that have been linked to Shahnawaz and his close aides, when money, foreign money could be seen, the transactions of foreign money could be seen, and that is why the police suspect that this could be a larger nexus. At this point, the Ghaziabad police feels that they have won half the battle since they have gotten hold of the main accused, Shahnawaz, in the case. But yes, this is just the half the battle won, because there is a larger nexus that is operating, and that is something that is proving true by every passing minute as the investigation is going on. Till date, 5 children have been identified who were converted in this using the same modus operandi, whereas the police is looking out for other children who might have fallen trap to this to this nexus that has come to the fore. But yes, at this point in time, there are 5 kids, and Shahnawaz the Ghaziabad police has managed to seek transfer remand of Shahnawaz, and he's been brought back to Ghaziabad. But what sources are telling us that he will be kept in a dislocated location, because there is a massive security threat that is threatening, and hence the Ghaziabad police is making sure that...
And very quickly, Anshul, I also want to know, what is the police telling you in terms of, are there other potential members of this gang? As of now, Shahnawaz and his brother have been arrested from Maharashtra, but are there others also who are part of this gang, who they're on the lookout for?
So yes, others, if you see there, this is a conspiracy that transpires across borders, is what we are being told. There is a YouTube channel that operates from Pakistan. The videos from that YouTube channel were also shown to these kids. Also, Shahnawaz has some sort of his heads who are sitting out there in Dubai is also what the police suspect. So once the interrogation of Shahnawaz starts from tomorrow, we'll get to know the exact details, if at all, how many people were involved in this larger nexus that has been unearthed. Because remember, this is first of its kind of modus operandi that has been exposed by the Ghaziabad police, and hence they are seeing this as a big success at this point in time. But yes, the manner in which the investigation is going on, it is very, very probable that there are more people and more international players who are also involved in this entire
nexus. Anshul, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how the story plays out, both in Ghaziabad as well as in Mumbai. Let me now go across to our full panel that's joining us. Anila Singh is spokesperson of the BJP, Touseef Khan is advocate and political analyst. Dr. Vikram Singh is former DGP of Uttar Pradesh. Khaleeq Rahman, political analyst from the BRS, is also joining us. Anila Singh, so this case apparently came to light on the 30th of May. The first FIR was filed. This was in the Kavinagar police station in Ghaziabad. The father of one of the victims, who happens to be a minor, went to the police and complained that his son was being lured into accepting Islam while he was playing an online game. And apparently it came to light because his son was saying that he was going to the gym 5 times every day. And then this father on one day grew suspicious, followed his son. Turns out his son was going to the Sector 23 Jama Masjid and not to the gym. What would you say to parents who are watching this? Obviously, a lot of parents who are watching this have kids who are playing video games, and it's a different world out there. You don't know, what these video games are, who your kids are talking to. What would you say to them in light of this case that has come to light?
My Ram to everyone. And Zaka, you're absolutely correct. As a parent, even I can appreciate that it is very difficult to keep track that in this blind world of web ki dunya, it is so difficult to track that what children are doing. Though parents, they try to do their best that what they are doing, they try to keep the track, but still it is very difficult. I will say at least parents should keep on checking the history, what their kids are doing on the net, on the web. It is very, very, at times, if you talk about the teenagers, it becomes very difficult. They take it as a challenge. They think that parents are trying to intrude in their privacy, but it is for their own good. I think parents, they have to keep a check on their kids. And at the same time, if any clue comes out, I think they should not keep it to themselves. It should be immediately reported to the police, cyber police, and on the internet as well.
Okay.
So this is what I want to say, because it is not about, and it is not the matter of any of the political party or any of the sarkar.
Yeah.
It is a social ailment, I can say. And if I talk about the religion conversion mission which was going on, that is obnoxious. You know, these people were targeting young brains. They were trying to brainwash them, lure them. This is very incorrect. This is a malice. That is absolutely incorrect. So we have to keep check on such.
Let me just give some details. I want to get Touseef Khan also. Now, what the UP police are claiming, and they mentioned this in their submissions in court today as well, in the transit remand application that they moved. The alleged conversion racket started during the COVID lockdowns in 2020 when schools were shut. Teenagers were exposed to online classes. There were minors reportedly from Faridabad, Ludhiana, Maharashtra and Ghaziabad who virtually met this man, Shahnawaz, at a gaming platform called Fortnite. On these platforms, you can chat with fellow gamers, you have to team up with fellow gamers, and you have to win these games. The first alleged conversion, Touseef, came to light of a Jain boy from Ghaziabad. Now, the police say that after this game, the minors would chat not just on Fortnite, but also the other messaging application called Discord. And it would start initially with innocent conversations about the game and strategies for the game, so on and so forth. And eventually, after a degree of familiarity was established, these children were then brainwashed into talk about Islam and accepting Allah and so on and so forth. Doesn't this worry you, the sinister nature of this, simply because, you know, most kids in their teens are on video games, one or the other, and most parents don't know what these video games are and who is there on these video games, and the fact that you can actually team up and chat with fellow video gamers, you have no idea what the antecedents of these fellow video gamers are.
You're absolutely right. As a parent, I would be concerned if kids start spending time on social media or on internet online gaming. I should be concerned, rightly. And like any other parent in the world should be concerned, because it's a dark world out there, as Anila Singh was saying. You know, an addiction of any kind, whether it is an addiction of with the game, online gaming, or addiction with smoking or with anything else, should be checked by the parents at home. And so far the claim, the case or the allegation of the police is concerned, we all know that, you know, police have in the past, come up with cases which turned out to be, you know, not so authentic, which turned out to be involving some innocent people. So, you know, that is part of the investigation that has to be seen after, you know, the court takes it into cognizance, after the witnesses are cross-examined. You know, the law itself, the scheme of the law, says that the police cannot be trusted for recording the statement correctly, as they may be self-serving in nature. If it is concerned, if police is concerned about the statement that they may have recorded from the people who they have arrested, you know, that cannot be relied upon, at least at this stage. Let the investigation continue. Yes. And on the other hand, I am absolutely with everyone, like any parent should be, to be very cautious, to be very watchful, and to keep their kids under constant watch about what they are doing online. There could be, financial scam going on. There could be lots of fraudster. You don't know what kind of world is there out in the web world. So, just like, you know, it's just you have to be cautious.
So let me then ask Vikram Singh, you know, what the Ghaziabad police are saying allegedly is that this main accused, this man Shahnawaz alias Baddo, the claim by the Ghaziabad police is that over the last 3 years since the COVID-induced lockdown, Baddo and his friends have converted at least 300 to 400 children across the country, particularly those who are spending a disproportionate amount of time on their mobile phones, on video games. They would lure them, first, of course, with innocent chatter about what was going on in the game, strategies about the game, so on and so forth. But eventually, it would move into religious conversations. The point is, could two people sitting out of a house in Mumbai have done this, supposedly by the Ghaziabad police, that 300 to 400 children over a 3-year period were allegedly converted?
Zaka, what you are witnessing is just the tip of the iceberg. The case is fresh, and the insidious and the nefarious activities of Shahnawaz alias Baddo is being monitored, no other than Ajay Mishra, Police Commissioner of Ghaziabad. I, for one, would not like to question the credibility or the integrity of the Ghaziabad Police's investigation, but it is a scary situation, and it is within the realm of distinct possibility that it is very much possible. And also, you will recall that Shahnawaz, in a perfect roadmap, indoctrinating children, picking out those who are trusting, those who are vulnerable, and feeding them on the nonsense of Zakir Naik, who speaks like God, and also other inflammatory material, and then trying to convert them. This is one part. Then getting money from Dubai and Pakistan. Do you think for a moment that it is possible for a lone wolf to do that? Certainly not.
Yeah.
There is a close, coordinated gang action, and it is a case where extra national and those outside India are also planning India 2047 like the PFI. Do you not see the similarity between the PFI roadmap and the roadmap of Shahnawaz and the like? Obviously there is. And to get conversions of this manner, they have handlers sitting in Pakistan and Dubai who are guiding the lives of the unemployed.
But Vikram Singh Saab, before I go to Khaleeq Rahman, how easy or difficult would this be to prove in a court of law? These are so far, you know, allegations made by the Ghaziabad police. They've managed to get a transit remand to the main accused. Of course, cross-questioning will happen, his interrogation will happen, basis that they will build a case. But, you know, this is going to be technologically arduous for them to be able to scan back and retrieve chats from 3 years ago. And that too, these are not WhatsApp chats. These are chats on a gaming platform.
You are so right, but you've answered the question yourself, Mr. Zaka, that IT-enabled and IT crimes are so easy to uncover and prove in a court of law. There is documentation, there's encryption, there's a financial trail, there's also a corroborative evidence that is face-to-face of the victims and also of Shahnawaz. Let us not live in illusion. Shahnawaz would be subjected to the lie detector test and the polygraph test. And also the other incorporated and other evidence will also be incorporated in the investigation. Therefore, it is one of the easier investigations to prove in a court of law, much as I would like to lay a bet also that this case is going to end in conviction because it has already incontrovertible evidence.
So let me go to Khaleeq Rahman. You know, I just want to bring our viewers also up to speed with the entire modus operandi of how this racket worked. This is according to the Ghaziabad police. They are saying that once a miscreant has created a profile on this popular gaming app called Fortnite, they identify their targets based on behavior. That is, people who tend to spend a lot of time on these gaming apps, people who are very open to sending random messages to strangers and also open to receiving messages from random strangers. And most importantly, they are also evaluated as to what kind of relationship they have with their parents, whether they're close to their parents, whether they spend adequate time with their parents, or their parents have let them off with a long rope. This is how the targets are chosen, and invariably, in this case, the targets that have been chosen are impressionable young adults. Doesn't it point to some kind of a sinister multi-state gang, Khaleeq Rahman, that preys on these innocent victims, profiles them, looks at the ideal profile of this impressionable mind, and then sort of targets him or her?
Yeah, good evening to you, Zaka, and good evening to all my co-panelists and all your viewers. First of all, let me tell you that it is a matter of great concern for all of us because we are all parents and we all have the teenager children. So, and we are not, able to actually monitor how much time they are actually spending and on what app and what they are doing actually. And let me also tell you that I lost my son in a road accident in 2011. After that, I started a campaign called Youth Against Speed. That's a road safety campaign. And I work with, the youth across the country. And I know the mindset and the very purpose of reaching out to the youth is to tell them that, number one, we talk on the deadly consequences of the speed and the drunken driving. And apart from that, I also, make use of that platform to also reach out to the youth and also to their parents to tell them that you be with your children as a friend and don't have these distances, especially at least have one meal, at least your dinner with your children. So that what happens is because the gap or the distance or the communication gap which is developing, because what happened now the parents have also become so busy these days, so they are not able to spend quality time with the children. So that's the reason, because if we go back to our days, we have spent a lot of time in the joint families. Today it's a nuclear family trend now. So because of that, it is really because mom is working, dad is working, and what happens is most of the time, in order to please the children, since we are not able to give them the time, we give them all sort of comforts, and also we don't.
But Mr. Rahman, what should a 13, 14, 15-year-old do who may or may not be addicted to these video games but spends a lot of time playing these video games, and then there are fellow video gamers who are luring him or her, talking about religion, talking about Islam, talking about how Allah's is the only way and so on. What can a teenager with an impressionable mind do to counter this? If not to counter, at least to recognize that this is what is going on.
Let me tell you, because these teenagers are 13 years, 14 years, 15 years, they have the very vulnerable minds, and it is very easy to lure them especially. And the kind of this sinister plan which has been, in fact, discovered by the police about a week, 10 days back, it very clearly shows there is, something really happening. And I'm not too sure about the figure that 300 or 400 conversions. But, it is up to the police to actually do the thorough investigation into this matter. And we have to actually reach to the deep-rooted cause of this.
Okay, on that one last point, I agree that, yes, that the police will need to prove this in a court of law, and it's not going to be easy to do that. But let me ask Anila Singh, the larger problem, Anila Singh, is that these on... One second, sir, I'll come back to you. I have time. Religious conversion using these online games like Fortnite and then the Discord chat app, it's basically similar to what happens on your online dating apps. Normally, you allow all users to sign in either with a Facebook profile or a Google profile. And this automatically, you don't have to show any verified credentials. You don't have to show any government ID proof, or you don't have to show your age proof. You can actually fake or create fake profiles on Facebook and Google. And using those profiles, you are then allowed access into these gaming apps. Is it time now for government to seriously consider that, particularly, violent games like PUBG and in this case Fortnite, which was used, that the real identity of these people in some form should be made available?
I think that is a very great input, and some steps has to be taken by the government, because this is getting very scary. Like we have seen, there was a game, Blue Whale or some, I don't remember the name.
Blue Whale.
Blue Whale. We saw so many kids, finishing their lives. Today we are seeing that how these people, they are luring young mind to get their religion converted. So this is very, very scary. We keep on seeing such things happen. And yes, you are absolutely correct. Certain steps should be taken. I mean, though it is so difficult to check the web world, dark web world, but still, I think government is already very proactive. in 1 year's time, we know it very well that many online platform or many IDs had been, blocked, but more has to be done. And I was listening to Mr. Rahman and I was listening to Mr. Khan, who is TMC supporter as well. They have talked so productive manner, so positive. But at the same time, when we hear Samajwadi Party, they say, "Arey, bachcha hai, ladka hai, galti ho gayi. Uska intention aisa nahi hoga." Then, it is alarming. Appeasement should not come in such things. Appeasement should be, should be kept for other things. But when young children, when they are getting involved, when in such a strategic manner, these people are taking their mission ahead. People like such heinous people like Zakir Naik and all, they are involved. I think at that time we should avoid politics. But what to do? There are political parties who want to do the appeasement politics, so they are standing with the Shahnawaz as well.
So Touseef, again I come back to that point. We don't have any laws or system in place in India where for video games, if you need to create a profile, you need to provide some kind of a government issued ID. This is as much true for video game profiles as it is for any social media platform account. Now, the point is that this could be a minefield for adults who claim to be, teenagers and who use platforms like these video games to befriend other teenagers. And you could have this completely lopsided field where you have sinister adults who are part of a crime syndicate, not just for, in this instance, but for any, it could be financial fraud, it could be for any ulterior motive, are freely engaging with kids under 18, with them pretending to be teenagers just like them. So there is no way you can verify these profiles. There is no way you can know that you're actually talking to a teenager, or are you being duped by somebody who's in his 40s or 50s?
Yeah, you are right. In a social world, there are limitations when online gamings are concerned, or even if social media websites are concerned. There are limitations about how you can verify before a person can create his or her profile. So while there is a task upon the government to ensure public safety when they are using internet platform, there is also an onus on the parents to coach their children, to make them aware of the ill world, that the evil world that the internet can become. So the responsibility is twofold. While government must take all the initiative that it can, I mean, it's nothing new. Not that because the religion angle comes and BJP must come into action. It is not so. There has been people have lost their life through these internet online gaming challenge and all that. People have lost money, their hard-earned money, to the scamsters available online. So all those also account for government to take stern action, to take whatever they could to protect the citizens in this internet space. And also there is a huge responsibility, I feel, on the parents to coach their children at home how to engage in the internet world, and what flags to look on for, and what safety measures they can do to ensure that no harm is done to them.
Okay, so I want to ask Vikram Singh also that this entire case came to light on the 30th of May when the first FIR was filed. It's been over 10 days now, and the main accused, the mastermind as the Ghaziabad police are putting it, this man Shahnawaz Khan, alias Baddo, that was his digital name, that was his video game name. He is alleged to have, along with his friends, converted 300 to 400 children to Islam over a 3-year period. Now, my question is, how do we know that this is the pyramid of this scam, that this man was the person who was responsible for this massive racket that was operating? Yes, he was in Mumbai and they managed to arrest this man in a space of 10 days. It must be asked how he was able to evade the authorities for the last 10 days. But surely the kingpin, the mastermind, could be somebody sitting in Pakistan or somebody sitting in Dubai. The Ghaziabad police can go easily to Mumbai or to Alibag and arrest Baddo. But what about if a mastermind were to be sitting in Pakistan or in Dubai?
Very appropriate point picked up by you, Zaka. But yes, it may not be so easy to pick up the king and the person who has the remote in Pakistan or Dubai. But yes, the red corner notice is very much possible through the Interpol. But if you are able to nab the foot soldiers like Shahnawaz alias Bagdo, I think you have done a commendable job. Shahnawaz alias Bagdo is not new to crime because using SIM cards that were doctored and they were charged even before the necessary verification goes to show that Shahnawaz alias Bagdo was ably tutored by his handlers from Pakistan and Dubai. And yes, he had a free run for at least 24 months. And those encrypted communication would reveal the entire nexus and the network of foot soldiers within India, their supply chain, and also the funding, etc. And I think that would be a very sizable recovery of what use is a remote if the television is not there. Therefore, to annihilate and to dismantle the sleeper cells and dismantle the foot soldiers, I think that is a task that Ajay Mishra, Police Commissioner Ghaziabad, should do, and also the IT cell of UP Police.
I'll give the final word to Khaleeq Rahman. We're given to understand, and this is again as for the remand application that was filed by the UP Police, that once, you know, these miscreants get these kids, these children in their lure, then the conversation steers to far more important topics or far more weighty issues. There are conversations about the Israel-Palestine conflict. There are conversations about alleged atrocities by the armed forces in places like Kashmir. They speak of the values of one religion over another. Again, it comes back to, you know, if the whole purpose of this thing was conversion, forcible conversion, what has that got to do with Israel-Palestine conflict or what's happening in Kashmir or anything else that political Islam comes to symbolize? I mean, if you want to change your faith, you change your faith. I'm not saying, you know, forcibly getting 15 or 16-year-olds to forcibly change their faith is the way to go. But assuming there are adults there who want to change their faith, what has it got to do with Israel-Palestine conflict or Kashmir?
Zaka, see, in this case, because these miscreants were targeting the young minds, the teenagers actually. And I don't think anyone, any adult, would have become a victim of these people. And as you very rightly said, and as Vikram Singh ji very rightly said, because this Shahnawaz's face could just be a front guy actually. And I don't think this guy has the capability or the capacity to run this plan. There must be, you know, the intellectual brains behind him. Even looking at his face, I don't think this guy, you know, has even the, you know, technical knowledge to do all this or execute the plan. So I think our police and our intelligence and IB has to really go after to find out, because this is something which is more alarming than any other thing. Because every youngster, every youth has got a smartphone, and we really don't know, and it is really difficult to keep a tab on them. So it is very, very pertinent and important that the police should not be complicit or negligent in any way. And since our former DGP Saab is here, I'm sure whatever he said, I fully endorse his words. I agree with him. And, yes.
Khaleeq Rahman, Touseef, Anila Singh and Vikram Singh, thanks very much for joining us. We'll